My name is Bond.
Bond.
Bond. Bond.
Bond.
Bond.
James Bond.
Welcome everybody to Scarpad's Comic Treks. I'm Scarpad, and we're here today to talk about James Bond, or are we? I'm a huge James Bond fan, and the book of the week for last week, for me, goes out to a fantastic new series called Bang from Matt Kindt and Wilfredo Torres. And why do I link this to James Bond? Well, I've been a lover of Bond since going back to Sean Connery in 1962 when Dr. No premiered. And a lot of Bond fans think that James Bond isn't so much of a man or a one man, but possibly a series of men. That's why we've seen so many different faces and actors taking on the role of James Bond for 50 years. So James Bond is a code name. And that's the conceit of this book. This book says that James Bond, or in this case Thomas Cord, who's the star of this book, can be anybody. And as this book opens up, we're greeted with Thomas Cord on a mission to retrieve a book. And within the first 2 pages of this comic, the Thomas Cord we see is killed. Bang, as the title goes. Shot, dropped in the ocean, dead. As we go on to find out, Thomas Cord in this world is nothing more than a code name. And the memories of the agent, the training of this agent is being deposited into different people. So once one Thomas Cord dies, another one is reborn with all his memories, which I think is a fantastic story. And also, lends into that urban legend of the James Bond myth that it could be anybody. And there's a reason why I think, in the cover of this book, Keanu Reeves gives this a thing saying a great fucked up blend of James Bond and Tintin. Well, it's kind of because the criminal organization in this book is called Gold Maze. And what they believe is that the world we see around us isn't quite real, that it's being programmed into us and specifically programmed into these agents. So it almost gives a Matrix-like quality to the background of the story. So I can see why Keanu Reeves likes this. And throughout the course of this book, we find out that both Thomas Cord and all the people he's going up against, all the villains, are being programmed into these individuals so that Thomas Cord remembers his missions going back to the 60s, even though he's only 30 years old currently. The artwork in this book is fantastic, and I think the story is fantastic. And it sets up the possibility that even the Thomas Cord we're seeing right now in the book isn't always going to be the one that's going to be around. When one falls, another rises and takes his place, and works for a organization called MI6, kind of a spin on MI6 from the Bond series. Okay. The comic is preceded by a novel version of this story in both the beginning and the last pages. And this is important because it sets up what the mission of Thomas Cord is, to track down these novels, or these books written by somebody called Philip Verb that contain secrets and tidbits of the tracking down for Gold Maze. And later in the story, he breaks into the compound and he tracks down Philip Verb, who gives them a preview of all these other books that he's written and talks about how he's there to prop up the reality of this story and to fight Gold Maze. All in all, this is a fantastic first issue. I really love the premise, love the artwork. And it sets up issue 2 perfectly, as we don't know where this story is going. But we want to travel along and go in for the ride. Bang number 1, issue 1 from Matt Kindt, Wilfredo Torres. Look for it in your LCS. Grab it on digital. This is a story that I'm excited to read. And as a James Bond fan, it can't be beat. So once again, thank you everybody for watching this review and a little commentary. Leave your comments down the bottom. If you have anything you want to see, let me know. And as we always say on this channel, you keep reading and keep on trekking.